Hello and welcome to Ask M&R Productions episode 210, the series where I answer your questions. So as always, if you have a question you want answered next week about Lego, Star Wars, or anything else, leave it down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that like button. First question from Sam I Am Studios. If you could meet any YouTuber, who would it be and why? So I'll pick a Lego YouTuber, and I'll also pick just a general YouTuber, because I feel like I have two different answers for two different reasons, kind of. So first one from the Lego side of things, Bacta. He's a guy I've known and respect in the Lego space for a few years now, and unfortunately we've just never been to the same Lego convention. You know, we did a podcast for 100 episodes together. Like, I've talked to this guy so much, and I have just never met him. So big shout out to Bacta, and he is like my number one Lego YouTube person that I think I would like to meet. Maybe a lot of recency bias in this answer, but the YouTuber that I've been binge watching the most recently is Larry Lawton, and he is a guy who went to prison for, I think, 12 years for being a jewel thief. I think the guy almost got life in prison, but somehow escaped some charges with weapons that he had but got rid of, type of thing. I'm explaining it poorly, but just really interesting channel. In the sense of meet him, I just think it'd be cool to like shake his hand and be like, I like your videos, and then that would be it. Like, I don't know, someone who obviously has very much turned his life around. I think he makes really interesting YouTube content based upon his life experiences, and it's just something I really enjoy watching. So yeah, that is another YouTuber that I would like to meet and just be able to say I've met, I guess. And it turns out, I was watching one of his videos a couple weeks ago, and he mentions that he lives in Palm Bay, and I'm like, oh my god, Palm Bay is right there. Like, literally the Walmart I go to is the Palm Bay Walmart. So yeah, I guess there's a chance I'll run into him at Walmart someday and check that off the bucket list of YouTubers I want to meet. Pamela says, do you think there will be a Republic Dropship with ATOT remake anytime soon? No. And I chose this question to give a pretty final answer on the fact that I think it's no. The set, when it came out in, 2009, was $250. It sold relatively poorly. And if they were to release something like that today, it would probably cost at least $300, probably more like $350, and I just don't think that they think it would sell very well at all. And so the fact of the matter is, Lego will probably steer clear of something like that, and clearly they have for the last 12 years now. It's just not something that's coming back, and I don't think it's worth even like thinking about that it's coming back. I don't want to be mean, I guess. Like, I feel like it's mean for me to tell you no, but like, I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's feasible. I don't think they want to do it. They clearly don't love the prequels, and that's okay. They don't have to love the movies. I still think they should make good products representing those. But yeah, it's just not something I ever see happening again, unless they do some significantly downscaled version, or perhaps release a dropship on its own. But the combination of Republic Dropship with ATOT in the same size as we saw in 2009, I just do not see ever happening again. Justin Chow says, thoughts on Lego including ladders and maintenance carts for sets? I like them because it makes a set more realistic and allows more playability, but many other people seem to hate them. Don't let what other people think about something ruin your enjoyment of something, first off. Like, that's pretty standard across the board for everything in life. But what do I think about them? I think that there's a give and take there. I think sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. Like, there's really good sets with maintenance carts, ladders, those sorts of things, like the 2015 Naboo Starfighter. I think the ladder maintenance cart thing in there is great. I also think in the 2021 Boba Fett Slave 1 with the maintenance cart ladder that also doubles as a stand is perfect. I think that's so fantastic. It's one of the best ones, probably the best one that they've ever done, because it doubles as a stand. There are other times where I find them kind of lame though, like in Poe's X-Wing, where it's just this little 4-piece build. It's never a bad thing to have more in a set, and certainly taking stuff like that out of the set isn't going to reduce the price, so you may as well have it there anyway. But yeah, it's, for me as a collector, just one more thing to keep track of, and with a set like that, that thing gets lost almost every time. CTE 2028 says, what are your thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett show as a whole? It was pretty good. I mean, on the whole, it was pretty good. My thoughts on the finale are good, not great. That's just what I've been saying about it as well. It was a lot more like all over the place than I thought, but I think that was good. Like, I don't look at it as Boba Fett's show now that it's over. It was clearly supposed to be Mando 2.5, and that's fine. I don't have any gripes with that. A lot of people seem to have gripes with, like, that it wasn't just Boba Fett in the show. I'm like, well, I mean, it wasn't just Mando and Mando's show. I'm glad they made it. I don't think it'll go down as, like, the single best piece of Star Wars ever, because Grand Admiral Thrawn is coming up. But it still was very, very good. It was not as bad as the sequels. So like, as long as you're better than that, you're doing something right. ELSW says, you often rip on the Droideca's appearance. What do you think the best Droideka Lego has put out there is? It's the original Droideka, and there is no other answer to that question. Speak of the devil, man. Grand Admiral Thrawn says, do you think we could get a Lego Vader hallway scene? So when the Dark Trooper set got revealed, I talked about this idea that a Darth Vader hallway scene should exist. And from that perspective, yes, I think that Lego could and should make it. In lieu of Luke Skywalker, we'll get Darth Vader, and in lieu of the 3 Dark Troopers, we would get 3 Rebel Troopers. Now, there's a great mock by BrickWizard59 that is a perfect example of how this set should look. Honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if Lego completely plagiarized this to a T. Now, the only problem with this, if there's a problem with it all, it's not a problem for me, it's not a problem for many of you, but thinking about it from Lego's perspective is you think about the scene in Rogue One where Darth Vader's just chopping them up, and that's a little too gruesome for Lego now. Like, that sort of thing creeps in my mind with how weird they can be with stuff like that. Like, with Luke and the Dark Troopers are just droids. Whatever, we can make that a set. Droid cruelty, who cares? But if it's like Darth Vader chopping up a bunch of human people, like, apparently that's a problem. Maybe? I'm just saying, like, just a reason that it might not happen. Because otherwise, there's absolutely no reason it can't and shouldn't happen, because it would sell even better than... I mean, if it has Rebel Troopers, I would probably buy quite a few just to get some more Rebel Troopers, because it's been a while since we've had those Rebel Troopers in a cheap, accessible set in mass. In fact, it's been since 2008. David says, come on, dude. Lego's pushing it a little too far. $30 for 166 pieces? Look at the other $30 sets. Almost double the pieces. We're going on a field trip to the table over there. So these are the 4 currently available Lego Star Wars sets at $30 US, and we have a varying range of piece counts. 166 on the Dark Troopers, 256 or 58 on the Armor, 276 on Tatooine, and 285 on the 501st. Okay. The scale is zeroed, and we have everything from the Dark Trooper set here. Unfortunately, it's missing the extra parts, but yeah, basically the sum of the parts are there. 324 grams for $30 US. So whatever that's worth to you. And then we have the 501st set, again, zeroed, and that's going to be 331 grams for $30 US. That's not too crazy. Now, I haven't weighed this one. I actually don't know. It's also got a slightly bigger box, but again, $30 US. 372 grams, so that one seems to be a better value as far as the actual amount of stuff you're getting, although again, bigger box, I'm not sure how much that has on it. And then 311 grams, so by this way of measurement, this set is a ripoff, and this set is a good deal. I think you get my point. The price per piece is rather irrelevant, and everything is kind of priced. There's also the concept of, like, Lego is selling sets at the $30 price tag, not $25. So even if this set should be $25, they don't make $25 Lego Star Wars sets right now. It's either $20 or it's $30. So there's no in between with any of this. So if you get something that maybe should have been $25, it doesn't matter, because it's going to be $30 no matter what. Price per piece is literally something created by the fans. It is completely irrelevant to Lego. And if you think about it, the 10 cents per piece thing isn't changing with inflation if this 10 cents per piece thing is supposed to be forever and always. So it just doesn't make any sense to look at every set and be like, oh, this has a bad price per piece, therefore it's overpriced. Some sets have a better value because they have cooler like, I think the Dark Troopers, I know Lego doesn't typically work this way, but a Dark Trooper previously was worth $50 on its own. You're getting 3 in one set for $30. That has value, whether or not the piece count reflects that. Rodrigo Blankenship says, what was your favorite part of your recent trip/mini vacation? Which most people probably didn't even notice I went on, because, like, I still uploaded, I think I uploaded like a dozen videos. I was literally not at my house for like 20 days, but it was absolutely getting to see snow. It's been so long since I've seen snow. I was in Atlanta, like in the city proper, staying in a hotel there, and it literally snowed around like midnight or 1 a.m. the night of the Celtics game, or after the Celtics-Hawks game, and it was just a fantastic time, and I couldn't believe it was snowing. It was so cool to me. It's been a while. I live in Florida, if you don't know, so it doesn't snow here, and I don't happen to get lucky, or I don't go far enough north to find snow most winters if I ever go up that way. So it was pretty cool to me to actually get to see some snow. So that was definitely my favorite part. In the second part of the question here, he's fishing for an answer, but he didn't like write it in a way that fishes for the answer. So I'll just cut to the chase. I got called out on Instagram by a girl named Rachel, who Rod sent me her Instagram over the summer. And he's like, oh, do you follow this girl on Instagram? I'm like, oh no, I've never really seen her. And her Instagram bio at the time, I don't know if it still is, it was like Lego girl or something. It was like that Lego girl. And I was like, oh my God, this would be so funny. It wasn't a serious like pickup line attempt. I just thought it would be really funny if I sent the world's worst Lego themed pickup line. And this is what I wrote. And I only share that because she shared it on Instagram the other day, and I was like, oh my God. Now I get to share this, but also this is terrible because I will never hear the end of it. Anyway, not much of a fun story, but more of an embarrassing moment. Cake CCL says, have you heard about the George Lucas minifigure, and would you consider it something for you to have to complete your Lego Star Wars collection? Well, George Lucas isn't in Star Wars, so technically he's not a Lego Star Wars minifigure, and therefore I wouldn't consider it something I have to complete my collection of Lego Star Wars stuff. However, I will never own everything Lego Star Wars anyway. There's way too many really, really rare things, like one of 1 things, 1 of 5 things that I will just never have a chance at. Like that New York Yoda, really fortunate to be able to own that. That sort of stuff just doesn't come along too often. So from that perspective, I won't have everything. Like I'll have all the retail sets and everything. That's a given. But for that level of rarity, no. George Lucas figure is, I don't even know how many were made. 1, 5, 10, not a lot. They're worth thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. If they are ever for sale, that's another thing with when you reach that level of rarity. Sometimes they just don't go up for sale, or the only way they go up for sale if it's through a private sale of someone you know, or you got to know a guy. Like it's just not a particularly, like it's not like walking into Walmart and buying a File First Battle Pack is. It's not like going on eBay to buy the old UCS Slave 1. It's another echelon of difficulty to track something like that down. I wouldn't even know where to begin to find a George Lucas minifigure at this current moment in time. So yeah, that is something I will likely never own and don't consider that I need to have. Also, given the likely price of it, it's just not going to happen. Denise says, in Australia, we had the File First Battle Pack on shelves for about 10 minutes, never to be seen again. And in reality, I think the set came out in August of 2020 in Australia, and it was retired by November of 2020. But continuing on with the question, why is LEGO so controlling on where it sends stock? If the US of A has it on shelves, but we Aussies have to buy it at inflated prices, is LEGO mean? Yes, LEGO is mean. I know this firsthand. They lied about this whole situation. They said that the File First Battle Pack was available in Australia the whole time. They said it wasn't retired, blah, blah, blah. And the reality of the situation is, for anyone that does live in Australia, File First Battle Packs have been impossible to find for the last year and a half. I think they briefly became available on Lego.com for about 5 hours 6 months ago, and that is the only way they have been available in Australia. It really, really sucks. There's nothing I can do to help you. I have tried talking about this in videos. I think I talked about it 6 months ago, 12 months ago or something. Like I've talked about it a while back. But like retailers in Australia aren't able to order them. Like they can't order them to the region. It's for all intents and purposes region retired, which is a very weird thing to say. But for the last year and a half, like retailers just can't order them either. That's how we knew it was retired. Lego then claimed to have fixed the problem and that it was not retired and that it was all going to come back and it was going to be fine and dandy. And in reality, none of that has ever happened other than, like I said, like the maybe 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, who knows, not a very long time that it was available on Lego.com Australia. So yeah, if there's anything I could do to help, I would, but there is quite literally nothing I can do. I make videos talking about this stuff. I know Lego watches these videos, but they clearly do not care, which has been my experience for the last 5 years. C. Spencer says, what are the chances of finding a brand new gold C-3PO or chrome Vader now? Have you seen or heard any stories of people finding them in the past couple of years? I still have several sets sealed from both 2007 and 2009, wondering if there was any way to weigh the boxes to find out, or maybe the figures were placed in sets that didn't make their way to Utah. Not expecting to find either, but thought to myself that there's most definitely a chance, just not a good chance. Thanks and love the content. So 10,000 of each of these figures were supposedly produced and placed into these boxes randomly, and I don't know, let's just assume 1 million total sets for each year. I would assume you're looking at about a 1 in 100 chance of having a gold C-3PO or chrome Vader in any of those boxes. Now, it's worth knowing that in the 2007 sets, the gold C-3POs were not included in battle packs. I didn't realize this. I knew this way back in the day, and I just kind of forgot it. And then at Brick Fair like 2017, I bought one of these droid battle packs sealed for like $30, and I was like, I had to open it. I had to know if there was a gold C-3PO. I immediately opened it, and then I realized, oh yeah, that's right. they didn't put gold C-3POs in the battle packs. I don't remember what the rule was for Chrome Vaders, but I know specifically for gold C-3POs, you know, there's a chance there's a gold C-3PO in here. I just bought a sealed 2007 MTT that could have a gold C-3PO, but personally, as far as like stories go, I don't know if I know anybody that's ever found one of them ever. Like, it should theoretically still be exactly the same odds of finding any figure now in any random sealed set as it was in 2007 or 2009. Obviously, the sets cost more money, but the odds of any individual set having them would still be the same. However, you can weigh the sets, and so I would assume some number of people have weeded out the non-desirable sets. So we're going to weigh the hyperdrive with booster ring, and it looks like it's about 900 grams. Man, this scale's getting some use this video. And then if we add the gold C-3PO on top, it looks like it adds about 4 grams. So if you somehow have that box and you can weigh yours, just know that the base weight seems to be 900 grams, and that if it's 904, it might have a gold C-3PO. 5% Viper says, do you think that in the Summer Wave, there could be a set with the Bacta Tank that you could connect with the 2 gray pieces at the top of the palace? And do you think that Santo could make an appearance in the set? Yeah, Santa Claus is coming to Lego Star Wars. I think you mean Black Chrysanthemum, maybe. But point being, I don't think this is going to happen. I touched on this a little bit in my video yesterday on the Boba's Palace better reveal, I guess. And to me, the top of the palace just doesn't scream this is going to have something that attaches to it. If we look at stuff like the Harry Potter sets where you're going to have attachments on the top and bottom of the build, the top is a lot more flat and tiled off than it is here on Boba's Palace. It's also just worth knowing that Lego Star Wars historically has made very few sets that do this sort of thing, and from that perspective, I would also not expect it. I think it's a lot more likely that we see something like the Hoth Medical Chamber as a set, like a $30 set that has Black Chrysanthemum, has a Boba Fett in his Bacta Tank minifigure, and then, I don't know, insert random third minifigure, because you gotta have 3 in those $30 sets at least. That sort of thing I really think is a lot more likely than a set that's going to attach onto the top of the palace, because it's also, you gotta remember, the palace from an external point of view is supposed to look a certain way, so having this thing just attach on the top of it randomly wouldn't look right, and it would throw the proportions of it off. I know it's not the most proportional great build anyway from a display perspective for Jabba's Palace, but still, I think it would look very odd, and I don't quite think that they would want to add on something that looks that odd. Also, I really feel like the top of that roof looks like it was made as like a decoration, not, you know, for functionality, those particular clips there. And it's also worth remembering that in 2020 with the Obi-Wan's hut, there were some clips that were much more obviously seemingly made for an attachment, which never came, and the designer said was never intended. So if those weren't intended for an attachment, I am positive these are not intended for attachment. Ingrao says, I've recently gotten into Speed Champions, and I'm amazed by the contrast between how the creators between Star Wars and Speed Champions interact / hear from the fans. I watched insert YouTube video, which we're going to take a quick look at, and I was taken aback by how much the builders seem to care and listen to the fans. How do you think we can get Star Wars builders / creators to listen to Star Wars fans like that? As far as how to get Star Wars creators to listen to fans like that, I don't know. I really don't. Like, I always had this great idea for a live stream that Lego told me would happen a couple years ago, to do a live stream where it was on my channel, and it was like in the summer, we would do it in like June or July, and then, you know, the live chat could literally ask questions to the designers, and we would relay those on, like, you know, we'd have the chat open going and, you know, talking about the new Lego Star Wars Summer Wave in June or July, obviously, when it's revealed. And like, this was this great idea for me, and they told me we could do it, and it never happened, and it upsets me to no end. It really does. And so I watch a video like this on the YouTube channel Racing Brick, who seems like a really cool car guy. I'm not personally super into cars, but I will say I watched this clip a few days ago, and I liked it so much that I decided to buy this white Lamborghini set. I'll have a review on it in a few days, but let's hear what the designer had to say about it, because the designer's enthusiasm sold me on the set, like, full stop. I'm not kidding. Here we go.
So this is the Lamborghini Countach icon, obviously. Again, brick-built headlights, brick-built taillights, decoed canopy. What's quite cool about this is we're actually putting stickers underneath, in this hole underneath the headlights, so that when you see through them, you can actually see the indicators and everything. So that we're really happy about. It's got the really attractive red interior, because a Lamborghini in white needs a red interior. That's so 80s. And we're also doing a brand new decoration to capture that iconic wheel. We're really happy about this. It was the #1 requested car. When you go through all the comment sections and everything, people kept asking for it. Yeah. So we're really, really happy about that.
So yeah, I have no idea who that guy is, but I really like him, and his enthusiasm for Speed Champions has sold me on at least the white Lamborghini for now.
But we know people love minifigures, so we also love to add them to these UCS models. So here with the Clone Commander and Mace Windu, we thought that was two pretty cool candidates.
Isabel says, I'm planning on moving in a few months, but really want the UCS AT-AT. Are the legs easily removable so I could pack and protect it easily, or should I wait until I have moved? They're supposed to be easily removable, but I have had problems trying to get the pins out. It is not a surefire thing that your pins are going to come out when you want to pull the legs off. I would highly recommend buying it now and just keeping it in the box for a few months. I know some people are really like gung-ho, like as soon as you get a Lego set, you have to build it. As a kid, I was like that. I have definitely changed, but I think you can wait a few months if you buy it now to build it later, and I think you would also benefit a lot from that, from like the headache of trying to move something like that. Like, it's just a lot easier if it's still in this one contained package versus who knows how many parts and the potential that it gets completely destroyed and you have to fix it. Charles wants to know if I own every UCS set, and if not, which ones I'm missing. I'm still missing a few. I do need the 2000 Lego Star Wars UCS X-Wing. That is one that I've just put off because I, quite frankly, think it's ugly. I will eventually own it, but it's just one I've put off. I also need the 2003 Snowspeeder, a set that is surprisingly expensive and hard to get, to be honest. I guess I should have bought it a few years ago when the other Snowspeeder was out and the market wasn't as crazy for a UCS Snowspeeder. Now, if I want one sealed, it's probably going to cost me, I don't know, man, $800-900. Another set that I technically have but do need to still buy a sealed one of and get rid of my used one is the Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. I want a clean sealed one for my collection, so I will eventually get a sealed one of that, but technically I already have it. The Super Star Destroyer, I just got rid of my used one, and I'm in the process of hopefully buying a sealed one from a friend, so that should be going through soon. I do need a new in-box UCS TIE Fighter from 2015 as well, and then I think that's it. I think those are all the UCS sets I don't own. It's only a handful at this point. It's really cool, and I really look forward to the day where I own my own house, I have them all built, and I can do a video showing literally every Lego Star Wars UCS set, but that's probably still a couple years away. A quick one here from Aiden. He just wants to know if I could show new Jedi Luke with the Return of the Jedi hairpiece, and here it is. This is what it looks like. It doesn't look too much different than what we saw with the Imperial Shuttle Luke, just obviously with a different print for the torso and everything.